This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Oh, you caught me. I was trying to get this thing to boot up here. Come on, Facebook. I think Bill Gates doesn't like me, so there you go. Anyway, I have Alex Phillips here at Burleson Economic Development, a well-known figure in this community. Let's just get this out of the way right now.
Okay.
Tell us all the secrets.
Okay. Well, there's not any.
Okay, there you go. There you are. Nothing that I'm going to get. Yeah, well, just I always joke about how tight-lipped you are about potential businesses, but we'll just talk about that in general because I know you don't want to spill the beans on XYZ company coming in and get us all excited or whatever. But we are pretty excited about what's going on in Burleson, and you're right there in the middle of it, aren't you?
Yeah, we got a lot going on between industrial, retail, commercial, and then even getting into the holiday season. So we have a lot of Christmas items coming up. We just finished off the Veterans Day memorial ceremony and stuff like that we had at B&G. So we're right into the holiday season and events.
Well, that's good. I mean, Burleson does a good job about that kind of thing. We have the parade and we have all these other activities and such. I really am impressed with over the last few years how Burleson has really made an effort about being a community as opposed, because I grew up in a very fast growing community, and the only thing we had in common in Plano was the football team at the high school, and that kind of thing. And so what I liked about it is, what I like about this is that we really emphasize community quite a bit. And I think that plaza really made a big difference.
Absolutely. We look at it every year of how can we get bigger and better? How can we become more of a destination for people outside of the community, come and have a place for them to celebrate with their family as well.
Right. And so as I do my, voodoo here on the computer, on the phone here, try to get everything shared so you'll get your name out and all this other stuff. We're going to talk about some of the bigger items that are coming into town. We're going to talk about maybe some goals.
Okay.
We have also, I was talking to Alex before the show about a really good article in the Dallas Morning News yesterday about Frisco. And, and we have some similarities with Frisco because when I was a kid living in Collin County, Frisco was just a map reference. Had a gas station and convenience store and maybe a couple of mobile homes and that kind of stuff. It really wasn't a community as such.
Yeah.
Now it's huge. It's bigger than we are by far. And
they have multiple communities within their community.
Yes. And we also talked about that as well as last week when I was talking with Larry and with Dan, that we're going to, we'll make it to the point where our size is, we're going to have sub-communities.
Absolutely.
But that isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No, not at all.
But it's the days of us being in a little small town where basically everything was on Renfro and Wilshire are long gone. But anyway, I'm going to run through the sponsors real quick, and then we're going to at least half of them, and then we'll get right on to it. CrossFit Burleson, thank you guys. Hope y'all are doing well. Lexi and Bailey got plans over there. It's 317 Southwest Wilshire, over behind the Stone Soup Cafe, which my wife really likes. I bet yours does too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. CrossFit Burleson will have plans. They have trainers. They have supervision. They have hours. So go check out their webpage at CrossFitBurleson.com and find out all you need to know. Also, Shandy Stogsdill, kind of related topic with real estate. She's still selling. We're reading in the paper about how things are slowing down. She's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And she's really, really smart at it. And one of the things she always gets asked, schools, police, economic access, if you will. What amenities are here? The people here don't just want to, be driving to Fort Worth all the time, and we don't have to anymore. So hang on, a little dry today. All right, Stogsdill Group, thank you for all what you do. Also, thank you to Auto. Everybody loves Auto. How many times a month do you go there? Probably 3 or 4 at least.
No, there's so many different options in town. I need to make sure that we're going around town to make sure we're visiting all the local restaurants.
I get it. You have to be,
absolutely.
You got to be diverse. You got to be fair.
Got to support everybody.
You got to support everybody. But since he pays me, I support him.
I understand. Auto's great.
I really like the food and the service. It's a great, comfortable atmosphere, and I always kid Otto about him being the maitre d', kind of going around like the celebrity chef, greeting everybody. Also, another place is a real comfortable place, Wild Cigar and Culture. They got lots going on. I know they got a couple cigar specials going on. Also for Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's time already. I walked into Sam's yesterday and there's Christmas music playing. I'm like, what happened to Thanksgiving?
There's not many songs about Thanksgiving.
There should be.
Well,
but they have, the gift cards is what I would be stressing. If, so, well, I don't smoke cigars. Well, I bet somebody in your life does. And even if they don't smoke cigars, they have a very fine bar. It's one of the nicest bars in the area.
Yeah, Chris and the team over there also have a private room that companies and small groups can rent out to have their holiday event too.
That's right. I was there 10 days ago visiting with Nathan, Chris's partner in this endeavor, and he showed me the room. I'd seen it before, but it's really very nice. And they have what you need there to have a meeting, and just table and chairs. They get the multimedia stuff, right? And they get the whole thing going on. So it's a really good place over at the Standard. Also, Tiffany, in her latest issue, is been out for about 10 days over at Local Life Magazine. It's about small retail, which is vitally important. I see your posts all the time saying shop local.
Absolutely.
And I really do. I mean, back in the day, people would just go to the mall kind of like, as out of habit. But, we got enough stores and small shops and boutiques and other things that we could stay here in town and make a day out of it.
Absolutely.
Go shopping.
That's the goal.
A little bit of lunch, over at one of the many restaurants we have, our place anyway, but, or wherever.
Yeah.
I like Fresco's a lot.
Yeah.
So Local Life Magazine, thank you for what you do, Tiffany. It's a great advertisement. 30,000 homes get it. Also, Burleson Buzz. If you are listening to this show, you're an avid listener of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood, you'll get 20% off of your subscription to Burleson Buzz. And it's already pretty affordable, so 20% off is a bargain. So tell them you heard it on this show, and you'll be able to get the discount. Cody's working on several articles. Yeah, you need to talk with him sometime.
I do. I've talked to Cody.
Okay, good.
Cody does a good job in keeping up with everything that's going on in town.
Well, good.
So,
and he's going to be on the show, what is it today, 13th? In about 2 weeks.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about why he's getting involved in this and what he's learned and all this. So the Burleson Buzz, like I said, 20% off if you tell him you heard it here. Okay. I was talking to Alex before the show about an article in Dallas Morning News about growth issues in Frisco and how they handled it. And it was a very complimentary article saying they handled it the right way. But they also have to deal with something that we deal with here, which we call NIMBY, not in my backyard. Do you deal with that a lot? Do you get a lot of
I think not
pushback on that?
Not a ton, but we do get pushback on some things just from the community of just, hey, we love this use and everything like that, but wish it wasn't here at this location.
You mentioned alley cats in particular. Do citizens have the ability to influence those decisions? I mean, it is private property that the guy sold to alley cats.
It is. And, if alley cats needed to go to city council for approval for a site plan or zoning or anything like that, then there's a place for citizen comment on that.
Well, yeah, and I understand that because if I don't know how I'd feel if I lived in that neighborhood and, right at behind my fence, we have something that's going to have a lot of kids in it and maybe noise at 10 o'clock at night and that kind of stuff. So I understand it, but isn't that somewhat just inevitable?
I think if Walmart neighborhood market's across the street,
right?
So that's a busy place in itself as well. I think if you are close to Allsbury and John Jones, those are not just going to be minor streets, even in the future. Allsbury's plan to go out towards the tollway. So, and those plans are already in motion. So I think the development's going to continue to go to the west. I think we're already seeing the traffic counts at that intersection be more than what we see at HEB.
Really?
Yes, sir. So, I mean, you start to look at the intersections and the major arterials that we have flowing through our community. Allsbury being one of them, John Jones being another one. Those are going to be ripe for commercial development. Yeah.
And this alley cats thing, it's already starting to put up structures and whatever else. And I think a lot of the people also are concerned about, the construction process and the noise or whatever, and whatever that brings with it. But, that is just an element of a growing community, is that people want to put their business enterprises here.
Absolutely. I think, if you look at alley cats in Arlington, they are, where you go to get there, they're in a neighborhood.
Right.
Yes, some of it fronts I-20, but in the back part where the arcade and bowling and everything is at, it's in a neighborhood.
Well, they would want to be in the neighborhood, I guess, for foot traffic. You know, all those people can, you know, little kids or whatever can go do what Alley Cats does. It's been, gosh, my son's 31 now. I think he was 8 or 9 the last time I went to an Alley Cats.
Yeah.
But, you know, don't they have like miniature golf and all that other business?
Our location will have miniature golf, batting cages. They'll have actually some other amenities that they don't have at other locations. I'll let Alley Cats kind of celebrate that when they open. But they'll also have electric go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
They went to electric because of the neighborhood being concerned about the noise. They went to electric. They redesigned their plan, their footprint of where those were going to go. So they'll be on the other side of the building.
Plus the fumes of those little 2-cycle engines, you know, from the go-karts, you know.
But inside they're going to have laser tag, you know, bowling alley, little restaurant. They're going to have everything, party rooms. They'll have a meeting room that seats to 100. Their corporate headquarters is moving to Burleson. So,
well, you know, for us, it's like, boom, there's Alley Cats coming in. For you probably knew about this and had been planning on it for what, 18 months or something like that?
We've been chasing Alley Cats for 10 years.
10 years, okay.
So it's been number one on our list and the community's list of having more family entertainment in town. And we've been very persistent in, you know, just creating that relationship with them over time. They are somewhat local owners and operators because they basically grew up in Crowley. Yeah. And, you know, the site that they picked is equal distance from 174 as it is 1187, and it's equal distance from 35 as it is the tollway. It's right in the middle of what the action is going to be in the future.
Well, when they finally said, okay, let's talk seriously, how long did that take before they finally started moving dirt?
I'll have to re-rack my brain. Yeah. Maybe 12 months to 18 months before, you know, we put a incentive deal in front of them that they could agree to, working on the legal documents to get them to city council for approval. And then, you know, working through our engineering, building permit office, development services offices to get all their approvals for their civil work, things of that nature. And then, you know, for the longest time, we were waiting on them to get their approval from the Small Business Administration, the SBA.
Oh, that's a long wait.
So just because some of the requirements of SBA had changed kind of mid-flow, and they worked with, you know, a local bank and to get that done and finally got it through for them to break ground. And now since they've, you know, out there on site, they are moving.
Yes, I mean, I just saw... You know, they're erecting the structure already. I thought, you know, they're not wasting much time. Their goal is, I guess, by summer.
Yes, summer of next year.
So of 2025?
24.
Okay.
24.
Okay. In fact, you mentioned about incentives. I was driving over here and I was talking to my cousin who's interested in business and such, and, you know, and what kind of incentives do we give businesses like Alley Cats or others?
So, I mean, our toolbox is very creative. I'll put it that way. We've done, you know, sales tax rebates for retail or restaurants. We've done tax abatements for a percentage of the taxes that they pay. Now, that's on city taxes, right? Not on county or school district tax.
If what I understand, schools don't allow for abatements in this state.
They do, but they have to be, every school district's different in terms of what the value has to be before they would consider being a part of an agreement.
That may be old information, but I remember back in the day, school districts weren't, to keep schools from cutting their own funding, they weren't allowed to give abatements. Maybe that's changed in the last decade or so.
I think school districts, you know, inevitably don't want to.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong.
You got that right.
You know, you talked about Frisco. I mean, Frisco did that with the Star and got involved with that. So to make that happen,
you know, I read about that as well. When they built the Star, part of the agreement was that the high schools could use that field.
They used the field on Friday and Saturdays.
Right. So that was, I guess, their incentive or their contribution, if you will.
Absolutely.
You know, these tax abatements and all these others. So it's not just one set fits all. I mean,
no, it's really not. I mean, we have an incentive policy, an application for people to fill out. For new businesses, new industrial, new retail restaurant, or any kind of commercial development. And then we try to put something together that is beneficial to the city, as beneficial to allowing the company to come in and have their business here in Burleson.
No, we're talking about something like a big enterprise like Allard because it's going to employ a good number of people and it's going to bring in some pretty good revenue.
Yeah.
Do these abatements also exist for, say, if I want to put another coffee shop here in town?
No, well, depends on what they're bringing to town. Is it new to market? Coffee shops are not new to market.
Okay.
Alley Cats is new to market.
Okay.
It's something that has been a goal of not just our team, but city councils over the decade. Of when Mayor Shedder was here, it was the number one goal for him. It was a lot of people's top of the list to get here. So incentives were a part of it to kind of close the deal. And we were able to put a deal in front of city council that council was happy with and passed.
So you talk about new to market. Okay. So, I mean, I'm driving through town. I see all these other, we have, like we kind of joke about now, car washes and coffee shops. You know, we have a bunch. And obviously they must see a possibility of making money here.
I mean, it's capitalism at its best, you know.
Yeah,
if you want to keep out car washes and coffee shops, then the best way to do that is to own the dirt yourself.
Why would we do that?
It's, but yes, they do their own market research. They understand the market, and I think people see Burleson as just a 50,000 person community.
No.
But our retail trade market is over 350,000 people.
Right. People come to
our community. So
yeah,
it's it's constantly changing. I think, just people understanding that, yes, we have a coffee shop. Well, now we're getting a new one. Well, I'm more upset because I wanted something else rather than a coffee shop. Yeah. And I get that. But there's, self-storage units were that way 5 years ago, pre-COVID. They were all over the place and coming in and, people got upset about that. And we get that. It's just, it's part of it.
The way I look at it is I have some business background is that if you're going to put in that kind of investment, they've done a lot of research, and if they think that if they can make money selling coffee here, even if we have 6 others that do the same thing or roughly or different varieties, but they're not just doing it arbitrarily. They've done a lot of research and whatever, and got all this. One of my friends sells marketing research and that kind of thing. When you say new to market, what would be new to market for Burleson?
So like Hawaiian Bros coming in, we don't have Hawaiian Bros. We don't have, some of these other places. We don't have a Shipley's Donuts that's coming. We don't, we don't have that of, if you had, we wouldn't be able to incentivize another Stone Soup on another part of town because we already have that in our market. So that's the way we look at new to market.
Well, I'm not talking about just specifically what companies, but what items, retail outlets.
Just something we do not already have.
I can't think of it on the top of my head that we don't have at least one of. We have just about every kind of restaurant, I suppose, and maybe it's outside of Panda. We don't have a sit down Chinese food place, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Payway's under construction.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Fast casual that's coming in right next to Kava and Torchy's.
Right.
It's. Like we don't have, Pandan. We have Pandan, but we don't have a sushi place. We don't have, that kind of stuff of like, we're looking for that other uniqueness. Now, we recruit a lot of people that don't ask for incentives, and that don't need it. And we don't do that. The incentive program is used on as needed in terms of trying to achieve goals that our council sets forth for the city manager, and the city manager passes those down to staff.
Now, when we talk, you and I talk, we talk about stuff that is visible to the community, in terms of, retail outlets and restaurants, whatever else. But you also are dealing with stuff that maybe is a little more under the radar, so to speak, like industrial development and office space and whatever else. That's also part of your job?
Absolutely. Tonight on city council, we have a incentive agreement in front of council and the 4A board to incentivize a new industrial development out by McLean Classic Foods for another 85,000 square foot cold storage and distribution facility. And, it's another $25 million capital investment. It's going to end up going on the rolls for, probably anywhere between $15 and $17 million once it's built. I mean,
is this part of McLean's or some new business?
No, something new. It's a new business. I mean, it's that's part of diversifying our tax base.
Right, and that's where the money is, isn't it? Is the big industrial development down south in a lot of ways.
A lot of it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the redevelopment of locations like where the old Jose's was.
Right.
And, we weren't getting revenue off of that except for maybe a little bit of property tax. But you put sales tax users in there like Black Rock Coffee and Shipley's Donuts, and we're working on a fourth user to go with the dental office that's going in there.
The fourth user that is to remain anonymous, I'll bet.
Yeah, we don't have anybody secured yet, so I can't.
I got you. I just tease you.
But once that gets developed, that's new money on the tax rolls. That's new sales tax dollars coming into the coffers that we didn't have for the last 2-3 years. That's been vacant. The same way with the Summercrest Wilshire corridor. Dr. Erickson's old office has been empty for 2-3 years. The old Sonic hasn't been producing anything. The gas station's been closed.
Right.
And it's been run down. To see all of that turn into 4 different fast casual restaurants, the sales tax that's coming into the city and property tax coming into the community helps diversify that general fund and the 4A, 4B funds to help generate more quality of life things that maybe we can put into our community that people are wanting, or how council wants to use that money moving forward with different projects.
Well, I've been kind of hassling, Larry and Dan last week, and I'm going to hassle Victoria tomorrow. That ditch right by where Shipley's Donuts is going in, by Old Jose's, needs some upgrade. That needs to look nice. I mean, and people think, well, is it really worth the money? People judge your community by not just what you have to offer, but how it looks, right? I remember a few years ago, people were upset about the landscaping that went on Renfro near Old Town. And I thought, no, that's one of the main entrances into our community. And you don't want to look like, some, shabby little town. You want to, make it look
well. And the medians went in for 2 or 3 different reasons.
Yeah.
We knew the Old Town plan that was created in 1995 was going to try to get to Old Town to be a more pedestrian friendly environment.
Right.
The medians calm the traffic, slow down the traffic, per se, coming down Renfro. The brick walkways and things of that nature, that's all part of trying to make Old Town a lot more pedestrian friendly.
Yeah, and then that's one of the differences. I'm trying to get 3 sentences out at once. But that's been one of the main differences I've seen in Burleson is that it wasn't like when I moved here in 91, it was a crappy town. It was a very nice town. I wouldn't have moved here otherwise.
Absolutely.
But I think, we were focused on just, our growth, and now we're focusing on amenities and
quality
how it
of
looks.
life.
Quality of life. That's the word I'm looking for.
It's the trails, it's the park system, it's all the amenities that people are wanting to. We look at it as, okay, where does everybody travel outside of town to go do stuff?
Yeah.
What store do they go to? What entertainment venue are they going to? Now, we're never going to compete with Dickies or, Will Rogers Arena or nothing like that. We're not building no arenas, but, what can we capture back from Fort Worth?
Well, I've been, talking last week, is that one of the things that I know has been talked about quite a bit in council over the years, not just recently, is the Hidden Creek golf course and the softball fields. And I think we're going to come up to a point pretty soon where there's going to be a referendum whether or not to sell the softball fields or not, because since that's parkland of a certain type, it has to have the city's or citizens' approval.
I will say the city has no desire to getting rid of softball fields in the community.
No.
I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, no. We were very clear about that too. That they're going to have softball fields, and they want a nice set like Chisenhall. The softball fields that we play on now, or I don't know if they still use them, but when I played on them, it was fine. I wasn't expecting AT&T Stadium, or Globe Life Park, but it was it was getting worn down even then.
Absolutely.
And, and the fields are getting kind of crabgrassy and all this other stuff. No, we're going to have softball fields, but but to sell that particular piece of land, and I've been pushing them to consider having like a convention center similar to Cleveland's. Now, Larry and Dan are both very clear that it would not be city owned and operated. It'd be a private development kind of thing, and I get it, and I'm fine with that. But we do need something like that.
We're currently conducting a hotel conference room study, and City Council approved a consultant contract to do that study, and They are surveying and talking to the stakeholders in the community and different people and companies that would help provide services and fill up the hotel conference center with different events, and hopefully hear back from them fairly soon of
Right.
what our community could support.
Well, I think we could support a mid-level conference center, have, conventions of a certain type. Now, we're not going to have like, the Rolling Stones making stop here or anything like that. But we could have local and semi large name bands come through. We could have a lot of conventions, and being where we are on the highway and in our position in the county, we would be the go-to place to go because of our proximity to Fort Worth, and also the proximity to Old Town. I'm hoping this comes to pass, and I hope I'm alive to see it because I know how long these things take.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big first step is council approving that consultant to do the study, and then they're the professionals, and they'll let us know what we are capable of, not just now, but in the future.
Well, I just think of the jobs that would generate as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure every consideration you'll make is about how would this employ local Burlesonians or area, Burleson adjacent people.
It's creating jobs for people to stay closer to home, and people that are not stuck in traffic are happier people. And
oh, yes.
That creates happier families.
Well, on the other side of the commercials, on my next run, I'm going to ask about some of the issues involved with growth, because that article I referred to earlier talks about, the housing issues. And that seems to be a common topic when I talk to the city council folks. It's something that's always on their mind. Let's put it that way.
It is, and it's a very hard topic, and it's a very there's multiple ways that people and developers are trying to tackle that, and it comes down to land prices being what they are, because that's where developers have to start, and then you get into the cost of goods of not just lumber, but dirt moving to water sewer pipe to fire hydrants to, everything else that they have to put in to even get close to selling a lot to an individual or a company to build a home. Well,
and also on the other side, I want to ask you about that property on Renfro, where the old church was, Old Hill College, because that's a popular topic of conversation, because it's such a prime location.
Absolutely.
And also, I think it was you told me last time you were here a couple of months back in July about the corner where the old police station was. And talk about that as well. But anyway, we're going to talk about somewhere you need to be going to this Christmas, Southern Gym. Taking the wife there.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm not going to take my wife there.
Well,
if it's a Christmas gift,
well, I tell you
not going to do that.
What you can do, though, what she can do is she can go there and she can make a wish list. Gayla does that all the time, or husbands will go in there and she'll help them out, with what maybe his spouse would like and that kind of thing. And so, but she was on the show on the 2nd of this month, and she has all sorts of Christmas ideas. She's very innovative with retail.
Very local, too.
Yes.
So I shouldn't see any Burlesonites shopping at Jared's or Gordon's or anything like that.
No, really, you don't have to, though. This
exactly.
This is quality stuff. They got the whole price range, but if you want high end, she has it. You want something maybe more in your price range, she has it. Also the designs. And the repairs. Now, I've been stressing this, that if you're serious about getting it done by Christmas Day, you need to get there this week. Because they're getting a lot of business. My wife tells me that they're already starting to ramp up for Christmas. Also, thank you to Old Pro Roofing with John Williams, 817-734-2756. I've been mentioning this on this particular ad about Matt Aiken.
Absolutely.
Since he was one of the founders of this company, and his funeral was Friday, I believe. And
he's a big mentor for the economic development team, and before me, and include me when I got on, and spent some time with him at different conferences and stuff like that. Got to know him and his philosophy, and big loss for the community.
It is.
He left his mark on the community for sure.
Absolutely. I tell people he's a former student, and what I saw of him as an adult, I saw in him as a kid. He's very bright and innovative and self-confident. Not arrogant, but self-confident. I want to stress that part. But he knew what he wanted to do and wanted to be, and that was a good thing to be at 16.
He was very good at it.
Because a lot of us don't, when we're kids.
I was not.
So 817-734-2756. Call John if you want your roof inspected. He won't upsell you. He won't try to make you feel like your house is coming apart at the seams. He'll tell you the truth. So call Old Pro. Also, another local business, you know these people well, I'm sure, Sammy Joe Campbell and Candy Gow over at Camco. They were on an October 24th show, so this is a new venture for them, but not a new industry. They've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But this is their new company. They decided to go out on their own. Sammy is at 817-778-4592, and Candy is at 817-925-2661. In other areas or other companies I worked for, they've done my house twice.
Okay.
Yeah, refinanced twice for school expenses and house repairs.
Okay.
So they're really good at their job, and they're here in town. They're still in the B&G building on the third floor of that southern standalone part building.
Oh, okay.
I think that's all. No, Cobb. I'm sorry, Matt. I'm sorry if you're listening. You're a new sponsor, and I get this mindset going. But Cobb Plumbing, Cobb Plumbing. They've been here forever.
Oh yeah,
since like 1970.
1948.
1948. Well, in Burleson, I mean. Well. Yeah, okay. But they're 4 generations.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate Matt personally because he's a frequent commentator on some of my other shows, that not necessarily related to business. He likes to tune in every now and then, and I appreciate the listenership. And Cobb Plumbing does great work. They've been in our house. In fact, it's kind of funny. I don't know if Matt's hearing it right now, but last night we found a box under our bed, and we started going through it. It's all a bunch of papers. We found a 2006 receipt or a sales slip from Cobb Plumbing. They'd come done some repairs. 17 years ago?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Why we kept that 17 years, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't throw away things.
Yeah.
All right, but Cobb Plumbing, and if you are listening to the show here and you say you heard it here, 10% off the next service call. Okay. So,
very cool.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show on the 28th of this month, and that because I'm going to be interested to talk to him about not just business, but being in a multi-generational family business. All right. One thing that I talk to a lot is that property on Renfro, my city market. Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
Is there any movement on that so far?
I'll say we had a plan that we wanted to do more retail restaurant and maybe office on top and kind of run the same play that we've run play on different properties. And I think the more, costs and everything have gone up, cost of construction, things of that nature that, we pulled back to just kind of reevaluate of like, are we missing something? Are we not looking at something that, just because it worked before, do we need more of that and that kind of thing? So we're going a different direction and looking at some different just users and trying to formulate a plan around users that want to be a part of the community and especially down in Old Town, and then go from there in terms of designing something that we're going to be more patient on that piece of dirt because we own it.
Right.
And it's, it's a very vital piece, I think, that connects the one side of the tracks to the other piece.
It does.
To the other side of the tracks. I think, that we're going to just be patient to make sure we get the right fit.
When you go out and you talk to businesses, do you say, hey, we got this piece of property, or do they come to you? Say, I see you have a piece of property.
A little bit of both.
Okay, so you do use that as part of your approach to a new enterprise.
We're not actively marketing that piece of dirt because we are being very specific of who we're reaching out to try to get on that piece of dirt. But at some point, maybe if council decides they want to market it, the piece of dirt to the public, I think when you do that, you are, you fall back on the Old Town design standards. But in the terms of uses that go on there, then it's kind of open season a little bit. So we want to protect what goes on that piece of property because it's so vital.
Sure. I mean, there's certain types of businesses you may not be as excited about, but and I'm sure that some like multifamily housing is off the table for that area.
Absolutely.
Because you want
council's given us that direction. They don't want any residential on that, and they've also of other uses too. So,
well, one thing that Ronnie said when he was on the show, gosh, now it's been about, I need to get him back on the show. It's been back in the spring. We were talking about that property because they were in the midst of tearing it down at that time, about closing that little street between
Clark Street.
Yeah, Clark Street between them and City Market. That that way we can add parking, because that's always on everybody's mind when they talk about Old Town is parking.
Yeah.
And okay, there's Bill. I think he probably read my mind. Closing off that side street opposite of Dobson will enlarge that property and allow for additional parking for that specific corner property. See, we were thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I hate to think I'm on the same wavelength.
I'm
as
shocked
Bill.
it took Bill 34 minutes to comment something.
Yeah, if he and I are thinking the same thing, that's frightening. But anyway, that would work pretty well, and
that will be a council decision.
Yeah, well, and I bet it won't be that hard a decision. I mean, how many people use Clark Street? I don't know, but anyway,
A lot of people that go to City Market.
that City Market, I guess that's true. So, but as far as the Old Town itself, I mean, I'm sure with that development in the new steakhouse, and I think isn't there one other thing coming in? Oh, that lumberyard. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Man, it's going to be like the place to be in Johnson County and Southern Tarrant County.
That's why everybody wants to be a part of Old Town.
Yeah, I guess
they
so.
start to see the activity, and there's a multitude of things that people want to see in Old Town. That Heim Barbecue is going to be open probably by the end of the month.
Hope so.
And there's more users that are looking at those spaces in between Heim and Razoo. So we'll see what happens.
Well, what other properties available? I mean, all I see is residential. Is it possible that people may sell in?
There's still three different suites in that Ellison Street development where Razoo's and Heim are at that are available for lease.
Okay, like for professional office space or something.
No, on the bottom floor for a restaurant.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yes, sir.
I did not know. See, I haven't walked behind that fence. I haven't really gone there yet. But so there's still
opportunities.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good. Wow, but I mean, I was thinking all those things. Now I'm going to miss Moon Tower, frankly.
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, but you know where they're going, don't you?
Yeah, they're going down here in Crowley.
Yeah, across the street.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be able to walk to it, and I really liked it. And it's going to take a while for them to renovate that building they're going into, but. From what I understand, they're going to have the same atmosphere, same style, that hippy dippy look they had. I always enjoyed.
Absolutely.
It. So, but always, are y'all afraid someday that though we're going to, what's a good way of putting it, overbuild in Old Town is the best way I could put it.
I think the market's going to bear what the market can bear. Mm-hmm. I think we're not out there actively recruiting for Old Town to be this huge side of the community. Mm-hmm. We're marketing the locations that are open for lease, where we've talked to the building owner or the owner of the land of, hey, can you help me find this, because this is what I want on the property. Mm-hmm. If it's a residence turning to commercial office use, or if it's Derek Sheeler and Spice Rack owner and him partnering with the chef Stefan and working with the landlord to put in the lumberyard where Moon Tower was at. I mean, a lot of this happens privately, and we're not involved. Mm-hmm. A lot of it happens where we are involved. I mean, it's just depends on what's going on.
There's a piece of property that's right adjacent to Babe's that's been open for a long time. Mm-hmm. Is it just the owner not really wanting to sell, or what?
It's not. It's the same owner of where the lumberyard's at.
Okay.
And, where Geek Out is at and things of that nature.
Right.
And he's just not wanting to do anything at this time.
Okay. So, I thought something had to be the reason why. I mean, that's right there. And
absolutely.
But one thing though, we go back to what my original conversation point is about housing. Now that the depot on Main is opening up in stages, and Taylor here has seen them. You toured them, haven't you, Taylor?
Yeah.
What'd you think of them?
They're nice.
Yeah, very nice. But, they're also a bit pricey, but all
what's
rentals.
not?
Yeah, that's
what's
exactly
not pricey?
Right. I mean, I don't know if y'all deal with it directly, but indirectly y'all do. Do y'all get asked a lot by businesses that they say, what about the housing situation here in Burleson?
And we tell them what's going on, what's coming, and they ask, price ranges, and we relay that information from the developer to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's something we don't control the process of stuff. I wish we did, but we don't. I mean, everybody wishes they did.
No, that's communism.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's, it's what the market is bearing right now in terms of, rental rates to property rates and housing. developers are just getting more creative with, it's maybe not your traditional single family home on 70-foot lots. They're building on 40-foot lots in other communities and 50-foot lots.
Like zero lot lines and things of that nature.
They get closer. A lot of people, there's a multitude of people in today's market looking for housing that don't want a lot of maintenance.
Well, I'd like, in my head, I'd like to see some housing near Old Town, because you're going to be employing a lot of people there, and kitchen staff and wait staff and management and whatever else. And if you had something, Depot fills that need to some degree, but you're going to need more, but frankly, I don't know how that's going to happen. But that's why I'm not on city council or planning and zoning, but I'd like to see something so employees of these businesses that we're bringing in can walk to work as opposed to having to drive in.
It's again, that's a tough topic to try to tackle, because there's 10 different ways you could do it. And a lot of it would be land acquisition.
Right.
Well, land's not cheap.
No, it isn't.
So, it's for you to try to put something on the ground where it's for employees. Well, you can't buy the dirt at retail prices either. So, it's again, that is a conversation for bigger intellectual people than me.
No, we know who runs the city.
No, it is not me by no means.
The city secretary is who I was referring to.
No, I take direction from my boss, and I try to develop that plan to execute.
Well, I also was asking Dan and Larry this about, are we ever going to get to the point where we're going to have public transportation in this community? I could see it. I don't mean like a subway system or DART or something like that. A train system that won't work, but something like small buses or something like that, small transports. I wonder if that would be useful to us, because when I talk to people, younger than me, particularly like wait staff at restaurants or the folks over at our place or whatnot. One of the things that they love Burleson, but they say, first of all, traffic is getting intense and parking is getting to be intense. I just wonder if we're getting to the point where maybe we can buy a fleet of electric buses or natural gas powered buses, small ones, not like the bigger ones that Fort Worth uses, but smaller ones that have like a route and all this other stuff.
That would be a question for city council.
Oh, come on.
No.
Well, but see, wouldn't that be something that you could sell to a potential business, that we have public transportation for your employees?
Potentially, yes.
Yeah. So well, I have Victoria on tomorrow. I'm going to ask her about it.
I would say, parking is always going to be an issue. I think parking is always going to be a subject that everybody want to talk about. But we have done a couple parking studies specifically for Old Town, and we do have plenty of parking within that 3-minute walk to any of our restaurants.
Well, it does help that First Baptist, I'm proud to say I'm a member of, there's going to help on the weekends, I believe. And,
anytime that the church is not in use.
Right.
So,
well, Baptists are always at the church,
there's always a luncheon.
Yeah, well, you're like Pathways, right? I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's always
a shared parking agreement, and especially for bigger events, we're in coordination with First Baptist Church. So they've been a great partner. Christopher Cass and Ronnie over there, and I think his name is Rick, and on the financial chairman. Everything's been great to work with those guys.
I'm glad that we're able to help the community out like that, and
that's what it's going to take as we grow, is to have those partnerships, not just in Old Town, but all across the community.
There is one concern. This doesn't really affect. You have no decision over this, but there is one concern about that area around Old Town is becoming, the property gets more and more valuable every year, and because of that, sometimes the temptation is to sell, or the landlords to sell, and so we all understand that growth can be a painful thing sometimes, right? And that's what I see with Old Town, is like sooner or later we're gonna have to start thinking way out of the box if we want to continue to expand Old Town.
Yeah, and I think that'll be on the market, and as it grows, as
the owners wish it to be. But one thing that I remember talking about this a while back, and somebody said, "Oh, I'm afraid the city's going to use eminent domain." One thing they don't understand, they didn't know, it's against Texas constitutional law for a city to use eminent domain for private enterprise. The one exception was AT&T Stadium, actually, with Jerry Jones. He got that put in the bill, snuck in, that he could do his project. But in 2005 they passed a law saying that you can't acquire land through eminent domain for private enterprise.
Yeah.
So nobody needs to worry about that,
Yeah.
Or anything. But I remember though there was 2 houses that were for sale, and I was looking for something for my daughter at the time. This is about 2 years ago, and they were like $350,000 each.
Yeah.
So I mean, somebody's
crazy.
going to make some money,
Yeah.
So, but you also mentioned last time you were here about the old police station. Is it even being used anymore?
Yeah, it's still being used. There's still a few of our departments that are in that because our city space at the new building is not done for us to move in there to kind of empty space out at current city hall for those people to move over. So it's a jockeying position, of,
Right.
Moving people.
But eventually you're going to be across the street or across the plaza rather in,
Yes, sir.
in that Heim building, right?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be nice. Can you smell
sir.
barbecue or whatever all day long? I don't know.
We'll see. They don't, they cook a lot differently than most barbecue joints. So
Well, like Hard 8, you know when they're cooking.
absolutely. So
But as far as that space, I've talked to Larry. I'm going to talk to Victoria, and I talked to Dan. Please keep the trees. Whenever development, to keep those trees.
Yeah.
Because trees are valuable in a community. They add a lot to it, and not just for environmental purposes.
that's the goal. I think, ultimately, again, that's council's decision as a development comes in of what they want to do. And, we just bring the deals to them.
Do you have any idea? I'm quite sure not whom, but what will go on that space?
I mean, I think it's only natural that it's something that provides sales tax to the community.
Well, I mean, like a restaurant or a retail outlet or something.
I think either one of those, something that provides,
Right.
additional sales tax to the community and property tax to the community on that lot.
And really,
What a safe answer.
I know it. Trying to get anything out of him.
Sorry.
Somebody's been PR trained.
I'm going to have to start asking him harder questions. Biden or Trump? Who is it? No, I know. I
neither.
forget it. Neither. Okay.
So,
Well, I'm just. You notice that too, Taylor? It's like you just rope a dope me. Whatever the city wants. Come on.
sorry.
All right.
So,
I know. That's
Yeah.
understand. I mean,
I will say, we have a lot of community events coming up. Christmas tree gets delivered next week.
oh yeah.
And that'll be put up before Thanksgiving. All the Christmas lights are up. They won't be turned on until after Thanksgiving. And then we have, Christmas parade coming up December 2nd, I think, is the first Saturday in December.
That's right. It is.
We'll have a float in the Christmas parade, partly with Brad Smith and Brad Smith Art did a lot of the stuff on the float. They'll be with us, and any small business is more than welcome to walk with us and ride on that float through the community, because that's what we do it for.
When I moved here, we had the 4th of July parade, we had the homecoming parade, we had the Christmas parade. I thought, boy, these people like parades here in this town,
But that's what makes our community
right,
different.
Exactly. And for many years I did the parade for student council to homecoming and all that. That's a hassle. I mean, it really is.
My personal hope is at some point the school district gets together with both schools and we have one homecoming parade and bring that back.
I would like to see that, because when Centennial opened up, the city said we can't have 2 parades, because the people that are on the parade route, particularly on the aftermath of the parade, everybody goes down Johnson and all the candy's thrown. But to get back to the school, they had to go through residential areas. And some of the people said, this is not, we're leaving trash in my yard and all this other stuff. So we had to go to other things.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We did a carnival instead.
Yeah.
But,
It's different.
it's different.
Yeah,
it is.
absolutely.
Because it didn't involve the community as much. It was mostly just the students that were in adjacent that were participating. And I always thought, this is what small towns do is parades and special holidays and Founders Day and all this other business. And see, I didn't grow up with that. Plano was such a new community. We had no community.
Yeah.
We had the fighting Plano Wildcat football team, and that was it. I mean, but we didn't do any of this kind of stuff in Plano.
It's important to my team that we keep that sense of community in anything that we do in terms of small events through BTX Best Fest with the State Fair Foods, or we have a new one coming up, or not a new one. We started it new last year, the BTX Buddy, cutouts, that people can put their face in, take a picture, hashtag BTX Buddy and share it with the local community. We're going to have 15 of those going out next week to 15 different businesses. We move them once a week.
Right.
So we get to hit, about 60 different local businesses with something to help them, increase traffic through the holiday season. So this year we're adding some different cutouts that are Christmas themed. We'll reveal those next week. They're a lot of fun. The businesses have a ton of fun with them. We are a huge, shop local, eat local, do service local. I give people a hard time when I see them outside of town doing their business, but it's just in fun.
Right.
It's just in fun, but it means a lot to these local businesses owners that when you walk through their doors, regardless if you may buy something or you may not, but if you don't buy something, that you're telling somebody who they are and what they do.
Well,
and it's
I understand exactly.
It's extremely important for those guys.
Well, that's one reason why I moved here, because if I'm going to teach here, I wanted to support businesses that pay taxes here because they pay my salary.
Yeah.
To be frank, and I needed an active, vital community if I wanted an active, vital school district.
Yeah.
And now that we have what we do, I don't have as much Christmas shopping as I used to do, but I don't have to go to Fort Worth. Only we go to, when Robin and I go out, for like a day out, we may go to like North Park Mall in Dallas or something like that. But if we do most of our stuff here.
Yeah.
Grocery shopping and everything you need,
There's small businesses and there's not, but that's who we were built on. That's the sense of community comes from our small business. They're the ones leading that charge, and that's why we lean into them so much to celebrate them and to show them support, because they're the ones that brought us here. They're the ones that are going to continue to bring us to new life and to new businesses that we all enjoy.
Well, I'm going to have Santa Claus on tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Not tomorrow, a week from tomorrow, and we're going to talk about businesses.
I'm not sure which list I'm on this year, but we'll find out. So.
I'm sure you're doing just fine and dandy. But we'll ask Mrs. Phillips about that. But but it really is something, because you can really do make a day on a Saturday. You got the farmers market, and you got the stores, and then
I think December 9th, Chaz is having the holiday market down in Old Town. I think the same day we're having strolling characters. I think the Grinch, and I'm not sure which other, but that night we'll have the Old Town picture show where we're going to show a Christmas movie down there that night as well. So December 9th will be a heavy day as well.
Yeah.
As December 2nd, the weekend before, with, Santa's breakfast out at Russell Farms and then the parade and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things happening towards the end of the year and towards Christmas and the holidays. But if you're going to be doing any of your local shopping or eating or ordering for Thanksgiving, there's a multitude of restaurants that are offering holiday feasts that feed 6 to 8 people at our local restaurants. So just lean into those guys if you ever need anything.
Well, I'm trying to connect with Mary Slaney to come on the show, but she is pretty busy, and she's also, believe it or not, she's
the big cheerleader.
Yeah, she's the one we try actually about coming on the show, because it's not her style. But
you get her going, you may not get her off the show.
Yeah,
though,
but I had her on before with Joni. Well, about a year ago maybe. Yeah. So I'm still trying to work that out with her, because she really, it's amazing, because as outgoing and out there in the community, she is podcast maker nervous. And
absolutely.
So,
I get that.
Yeah. So
I think that one other thing that I want to plug, that I wanted to talk about or just make a plug for, is in February 20th of next year, we have our big leadership conference, Project U. And council has given us some more leeway in terms of going to get some bigger speakers, and it's going to be an event that's going to be more elevated than it was even last year. We're really looking forward to it. And this event is to pour into our small businesses, to our business community, to provide them professional development through leadership training for any size business that calls Burleson home. We get businesses, cities, school districts from all over the area that want to come and be a part of it. So we're looking forward to it.
The comments on the past Project U's have been phenomenal. I mean, they were really, really impressed. And it was one of the best things that y'all did. And also that, I think, Megan Hollowell Swearingen says, I'm excited for Project U. It was great last year. And say nonprofits then are also part
absolutely.
of this. Where's it at?
It'll be at Pathway Church again. Again, that goes back to the conference center stuff.
Right.
375 people. We sold out last year. We are on pace to sell out even quicker this year. Our lineup includes Damon West, which he is a phenomenal speaker that we've seen at another conference. Jess Ekstrom, that was supposed to be there last year, but she had a baby, so we had to call. But she's coming in. She's going to have a brand new talk that she's going to unveil at Project U. We're excited about. Stephen Mackey, he does a lot of work in the school districts across the U.S., but he has a talk this year that's going to really strike a chord with people. Carlos Whitaker has a new book out called How to Human, and our last speaker of the day is Ryan Leake. And he is phenomenal, and his talk will be on self-leadership. And, we've themed this year with one word, and our team came up with that word called, it's reflect. Is to reflect on yourselves before you act, speak, or start to do something that maybe you didn't want to do. Because we're such a divisive society in today's world that we're quick to do everything. And these speakers were kind of put together around that word. We were very patient and particular of the talks and who we brought in this year because it's very well needed. So
it's interesting because that same month the Chamber's doing their business exposition.
Burleson Business Expo at Pathway.
Right.
I believe that's that Saturday after the event.
Right.
In fact, the Burleson EDC is sponsoring 20 booths at that event for young entrepreneurs.
Really?
To be able to, we'll provide the table and a couple chairs. We're paying for those booths, and we'll put out some ads as we get closer, some posts to sign up those young entrepreneurs. I know some young entrepreneurs are going to be out at Russell Farm in December for an event that they have out there too. So we're looking at dive deep into mentoring those younger generation to kind of follow in the footsteps of the business community that we have today.
Well, the Chamber really did a good job last year, and it's going to be even bigger. I was talking to Melissa Miller, the new chair or the new head of that, off the air, and they're already hard at work at it and that kind of thing. It's not something you put together in a day.
Gabrina did a phenomenal job.
Right.
I think the team that Melissa and Jessica and Sarah have out there now is just going to take that and take it to new heights. And we've enjoyed working with Melissa and Sarah and Jessica since Gabrina stepped away, and we have some new ideas, some new things coming up that I think those will take the Chamber to the next level.
Wow, I should be taking notes, I guess, because we got Christmas events coming up in December.
We got a ton of stuff coming up.
In February, you got a very full month there between y'all and the Chamber.
Absolutely.
So I guess you're taking a break in January or something.
No, don't do that. Project U starts September planning for a February event, and
I know
our team stays busy with just making sure that we're taking care of our business community and working with the Chamber and that partnership, and has been phenomenal, and working with our city council and other staff that are hard at work every day at City Hall.
Well, I appreciate how hard y'all work at it, and the few times I've had to deal with city employees, it's always been fine, good, great service, appropriate service, friendly people. It's a good place. You don't go in there and you don't feel like you're going to have a hassle or nothing because they're very accommodating.
That's who we are. We work for the citizens.
Right. But it's been a great experience. And, I'm really glad I live here, for lots of reasons. But I think as time has gone on, I'm even more glad because of all the things that are coming into town. And a lot of it has to do with you and your team. You and Joni and Drew really work hard at this.
It's a team effort. It's just not us three. It's our business community. It's our city council. It's our city management. It's the people of our community are the people that are growing our community. Well, people are coming here because of the people that are here, not just who we talk to on a daily basis. And
that's true.
That'll be my answer every time you ask me.
Okay. And it's, boy, you're wasted. You got to be a politician yourself.
No.
Okay. No, you do really a great job. And
maybe in a few years, but not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon. Okay.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
There's your breaking news, Taylor.
Yeah, breaking news. Maybe one day. Who knows? Mayor Phillips. You never know.
No. I don't know about that. So.
All right.
I got a few years till retirement. So.
Well, so I'm just saying that though. Somebody's got to direct it, though. I mean, we can have all the goodwill we want, and and the good thoughts, but somebody has to channel that in the right direction. The three of y'all do a really good job.
I appreciate that.
And be sure to take some time for the family, though, this Christmas, because I know
No,
y'all
we will.
working on it. So make sure you get some time for yourself, because, don't you have small children?
My daughter will be a senior next year.
Oh, I
so
thought she was in junior high for some reason.
I wish she was, but she's
Okay.
not.
Which school did she go to?
She's at BHS.
Good for her.
She'll be an Elk alumni just like me and my wife.
And me too. Well, not an alumni, but I was there so many years, I might as well.
Might
have
as
been.
well be.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being here. Tomorrow I have two shows, actually. I got Mike Purdue coming in at noon for Toys for Tots.
Love what he does with Toys for Tots. And Mike is, again, he's an outstanding small business in our community, and can't thank him enough for what he does.
Right. And that Toys for Tots is a big, big deal. They were on the show last year, and I didn't realize just the number of toys that they
we're ready for it to get bigger.
Yeah. Well, they want it. They're ambitious. And at 2 o'clock, we're going to have Victoria on. I'm going to ask her all these questions. Particularly about the growth issues, because that probably is the number one topic they deal with on the city council, and it's various
Absolutely.
forms,
I mean, that's the topic that needs to be discussed. That way we would stay in front of it and we do things the right way.
And I've always been really impressed with just how knowledgeable she is about these issues.
Absolutely.
And then on Thursday, I have Seth Hickman from the early college program at BISD, which is another. Don't you wish they had that when you were kids?
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't have attended it. So just be honest.
Well, yeah, but the thing about that program,
I didn't even attend college after high school, so
well, you never know.
Yeah.
But it's one of the best.
It's a
things.
great benefit.
Yes,
that
it is one of the best things BISD does.
BISD has in place for students in our community.
I've been part of BISD since 1988, and I've seen how it's grown and multiplied, and wow, they offer so much more than when I first started here.
Oh yeah,
So we'll be talking about all of those things. Taylor, are you doing all right over there?
I'm doing well.
Okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow for the doubleheader, and y'all take care. Y'all tune in later. Share this, because this is good, solid information you need to know about your community, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.